by the time they meet us, the foundations of the business are just not there. I saw very low chances of this venture being successful.
So, Kulmani, how did the idea of VenturEdu came by?
So, as you know, we have been running accelerator called Fibonacci X, and I spend a lot of time working with founders with our portfolio companies. Whenever I met a young founder, I always thought that what if I could go back and meet him 2 years ago before he started his journey or her journey and help them build the foundation better. Because by the time they meet us, they have already been meeting investors, other people in the ecosystem, and the foundations of the business are just not there, right? And so at that stage, either they have to spend roughly a year in resetting from ground up, or basically create a new business, right? Because in terms of probability, when I evaluated those businesses and the founder fit, I saw very low chances of this venture being successful. So then the idea was, can we build something for these founders? And one of the ideas which we discussed internally in our team, that why don't we raise and sponsor this residency for the founders? But then the engagement will be a lot different. So we thought we'll have a paid residency where they spend roughly 14 months with us. First, unlearning a lot of things which they learned from popular media or what is portrayed about venture building, which is just not true. Getting funding does not make you rich. That is a settled truth now. I think most of the founders who have been around, they will understand that. And second is this social currency which is attached to being a founder is hugely misunderstood by young founders, right? So being a founder should mean that I am responsible for lot many things. Does not make you better than anybody around us. It's just that in that role, you are responsible for many things. The other thing which we thought about is that I've always been a huge fan of mental models. Is basically how do you look at a certain problem, right? So I wanted to bring that to younger founders. And when we started working on the curriculum, I didn't find any accelerator, any incubator, or any residency addressing all these aspects, which is giving you the mental model, hand holding you in a heavy touch way, and working and building alongside you. All those institutions have a role to play, and which is important, but they are different than what we wanted to build. So it didn't exist. So that's how we started the idea, and that's why we are building it. So the basic foundation of Fibonacci X and VenturEdu is learning and growth. It has always been learning and growth. Even when we are doing governance calls with our founders on weekly basis, it's always about learning and growth. It's not about that this is definitely going to work. This is more about let's try that and let's assign some probability and let's see what comes out. So learning and growth is the foundation of VenturEdu. And ideally, I would want the founders to come with a default worldview and graduate or walk out as a completely different person, because their mindset about looking at founder problems, issues, challenges will be very different from a regular founder who is not part of the program. So, coming back to your initial question, it came from learnings from young founders, from interactions. And then I looked for, is anybody addressing those? So we didn't find a solution. And then we thought, oh, why don't we build this? So that was the genesis.